Good morning, friends. Today I am going to take this session on the environmental ecology MCQs of 2015 and 16 UPSC questions, guys. Till now we have done the previous year's questions. So we started our discussion from 2011. So we have done 2011, 12, 13, and the 14, guys. Okay, now I am taking the session on the 2015 and 2016 questions, both of them, guys. Okay, that is about module number 1, that is environmental ecology. So I start my discussion with the question number 1. In India, in which of the following types of forest is a teak dominant tree species? Guys, many times I have explained this concept and I told you to see again and again. Why? Because they will give the characteristics of a certain type of forest and we need to find out the which of the following suits the given characteristics. Okay, so if you see now we need to find that teak is the dominant tree species in which of the following rain forest. So the options given are tropical moist deciduous forest, tropical rainforest, tropical thorn scrub forest, temperate forest with grasslands. So guys, salt teak are the predominant in the tropical moist deciduous forest, guys. Okay, I explained this topic many times in many discussions, guys. Okay, so the correct answer for this statement is tropical moist deciduous forest. Sal and teak, SAL. Sal and teak are a dominant tree species in the tropical moist deciduous forest, guys. So let us see the option. Exactly, guys. So the first option is the correct statement for the given questions, guys. So please try to find out the few characteristics of the tropical moist deciduous forest. If you see tropical moist deciduous forest are the one which are having the rainfall between the 75 to 100 degrees centimeters. Like if you take the tropical rainforest, these are having the rainfall of 200 centimeters, guys. So whereas the deciduous are the one which are having the rainfall between that is 25 to 200. Okay, guys, so in the tropical deciduous we have tropical dry and tropical moist deciduous. So tropical moist deciduous are the one which are having the rainfall above 100 centimeters, like that, whereas the tropical dry deciduous are having the 75 to 100, like that, guys. Okay, so the moist deciduous means the deciduous forest will be having the shedding of the trees for every once time in a year, guys. Okay, so these are the few characteristics, guys, so such that we can able to answer the question easily, guys. So in this question the teak is dominant in the tropical moist deciduous forest. The first statement is the correct answer. Let us move to the second question. Which of the following is the best description of the term ecosystem, guys? Ecosystem. What is ecosystem? What is environment? What is community? What is population? What is individual? Very important definitions, and I explained in this class also, guys. A community of organisms interacting with one another. The option A describes the definition of the community. Okay, guys. A community of organisms interacting with one another is called as community only. Second statement, the part of the earth which is inhabited by living organisms is called as environment, guys. Okay, so the part of the earth which is inhabited by living organisms is called environment. If you see the option number C, a community of organisms together, okay, with the environment in which they live is called as ecosystem, guys. Ecosystem is the relation between the organisms with themselves and with the environment. Okay, guys. So only the relationship between the organisms is called as community. Okay, that is option A. And if you see option C, we are having the community with respect to the environment is called as ecosystem. The community of organisms together, that is, okay, community, and with the environment in which they live is called as ecosystem. Ecosystem is the relation between the living organisms with each other and with the environment is called as ecosystem. Exact definition is option C guys. Okay, the flora and fauna of a geographical area, it is called as biodiversity. Okay, so option D is biodiversity. So the correct answer for the given question, that is ecosystem, is option C. Let us see the answer guys. Exactly, so C is the correct answer guys. Let us move to the next question. H1N1 virus is sometimes mentioned in the news with reference to which of the following disease? Guys, we need to find out the H1N1 virus is related to which of the following disease. Guys, it is related to this swine flu guys. Okay, guys, this swine flu disease is an influenza that is caused through the pigs. Okay, that is caused through the pigs guys. Okay, this disease occurred in the year 1919 itself. Okay, on that time only we have those symptoms of the disease, but in the recent years, that is in the 16 like 2016 like and 15 like that, we have again the that virus have been appeared guys. Okay, that's why we have this virus in the current affair. That's why they have been asked. Okay, H1N1 virus is sometimes mentioned in the news with reference to which of the following disease, that is swine flu. Okay, let us see the answer. Swine flu gas. Okay, let us move to the next question. With reference to fly ash produced by the power plants using the coal as fuel, which of the following statement is or correct regarding the fly ash? Guys, separate topic I have taken about fly ash. Okay, very important topic guys, very important. So actually, what do you mean by fly ash? Fly ash is the nothing but the residue part guys. Okay, it is the residual part that has been made obtained after burning the solid light. As it said, it is after burning the coal as a fuel gas. It is the fly ash. Okay, generally this is present in the air gas as it will fly as a ash. Okay, but it has many uses guys. We can use this fly ash as a substitute for many purposes. So let us see its options. Fly ash can be used in the production of bricks for building construction guys. Exactly guys. Okay, this can be used in the production of bricks for building construction guys. Okay, so instead of using the material that is used for the bricks as it is, we can add some portion of the fly ash such that the bricks will be made very strong guys. It will strengthen the brick. Okay, and the material also reduced guys. Okay, so fly ash can be used in the production of the bricks for building constructions guys. Okay, that is correct statement. If you say second statement, fly ash can be used as a replacement for some of the Portland cement content of concrete. Exactly guys. Okay, so we can use as a Portland cement concrete of concrete material also. Okay, that is also correct. Okay guys, we use that fly ash uh, in the construction of the roads also guys. Okay, if you see the many developed countries like Japan and all those things, they have used the fly ash for that purpose also. Okay, for the construction of the roads. Okay, so in the same manner they can use as the Portland cement contents of concrete. Third statement, fly ash is made up of silicon dioxide and calcium dioxide only and does not contain any toxic elements. That is wrong guys. Okay, whenever we get the any statement with only, we need to think for thrice, not for the once, not for the twice, thrice guys. Okay, fly ash is made up of silicon dioxide exactly and calcium oxide exactly. Not only silicon and calcium dioxide guys, only it does not contains any toxic. So that only is also not correct guys. We have some aluminum compounds, some nitrites, all those things are present in the composition of the silicon. Okay, the only statement is not correct, and it does not contains any toxic elements. No guys, as it is burning the coal. So what are the toxic elements? If you burn the coal, we have carbon dioxide as a basic toxic element that will release by burning the coal. Okay, carbon dioxide and the carbon monoxide will release. So simple guys, don't confuse with the options. Okay, when we burn the coal, obviously it is going to release carbon dioxide. Okay, the thought statement is not correct guys. Okay, the correct answer for the given question is option 1 and 2. So the correct answer is A. Let us see the answer guys. Exactly. Okay, A is the correct answer. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following regions of India has a combination of mangrove forest, evergreen forest, and deciduous forest? Guys, if you see the options, mangroves, evergreen, and deciduous forest, we have discussed about the mangroves, we have discussed about the evergreen forest and deciduous forest. Okay, guys. So the mangroves are present more at the Sundarban deltas, Andaman and Nicobar, means where we are having the islands and the coastal areas. At that place, we are having the mangroves. So we can take the four options, guys. And evergreen forest, so evergreen forest will not present in the southwest Bengal, guys. Okay, and is also not present in the north coast of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so evergreen forest are present in the Andaman and Nicobar islands, and in the southern Saurashtra also these are not present. So, and moreover we need to find the deciduous forest also. So the three types, that is the mangroves, evergreen, and deciduous, are present at the Andaman and Nicobar islands, guys. Okay, so the correct answer is option number D. Okay, exactly. So let us move to the next question. Which of the following best describes or describe the aim of Green India mission of the government of India, guys? Okay, so this is the type of questions UPSC will ask, guys. Simple, okay, simple. We should know what Green India mission is, such that we can answer this question exactly, guys. Okay, what Green India mission? Green India mission is to restore, guys, to restore the green. Okay, to maintain the greenery. Okay, to maintain the greenery, to restoring, to conservation, to regenerate. That is greenery mission is about the Green India mission, guys. Okay, so let us see the option: incorporating environmental benefits and cost into the union and state budgets, thereby implementing the green accounting. Okay, this doesn't deals with the Green India, guys. Okay, Green India mission, no. The launching the second green revolution to enhance agricultural output so as to ensure food security to one and all in the future. Okay, it has no relation with the green revolution, guys. Okay, and if you see thought statement, the restoring and enhancing forest cover, exactly, and responding to climate change by a combination of adaptation and mitigation measures. The third one exactly suits the Green India mission, guys. Okay, the first one, the first and second one will not suit the Green India mission, even though those two statements are required for the Green India. But in the Green India mission, it speaks about the third statement. Okay, it's not speaks about the second green revolution, and it doesn't speaks about the green accounting, guys. Okay, so we should know what are the provisions. So if you take one topic, we should know exact provisions relating to the topic, like Green India mission. So what is Green India mission? So when we have been adopted in the year 2014. Okay, in the year 2014 we have adopted Green India mission. So what are its target? To restore the, or to increase the forest cover. So who are the stakeholders? This we have taken to include the local level people to make the forest greenery, guys. Okay, like this we should know and things related to green emission 360 degrees approach. Okay, so the correct answer for this statement is 3, guys. Okay, why? Because the first and two statements also looks like same, but the second green revolution will related to only agriculture, guys. Agriculture is different from the Green India mission. Green India mission has to restore the forest cover. Okay, that is not option number 2 is wrong, and the first one is also, it is not the about related to green accounting, guys. Okay, it is restoration and enhancing forest cover and responding to climate change by a combination of adaptation and mitigation measures. So the third option is the correct, that is option number C, exactly. Okay, let us move to the next question, guys. Which of the following statement is or correct? Okay, viruses can infect. So what are the things the virus can infect, guys? Okay, so the virus can infect. So what is virus? So the virus is a submicroscopic infection that replicates only inside the living cell of an organism, guys. Okay, guys, I repeat, the virus is a submicroscopic infectious agent that replicates only inside the living cell of an organism. So if you see the living cells, the three given options are the living cells, that is the bacteria, fungus, and the plant. So the bacteria are a type of biological cell, and fungus, we know that these are so these are present at the mushrooms and the molds, so which are dead and decaying particles. Plants, you people know, these are having the life. Okay, So the correct answer for this statement is D, guys. So it can infect bacteria, fungus, plants, and animals. So 1, 2, 3 are the correct answer. Let us see the answer, guys. Okay, done. So let us move to the next one. Gadgil Committee report and Kasturi Rangan Committee report sometimes seen in the news are related to. So guys, so we should find out the reports and its constituted program. Okay, so for example, now in the question Gadgil Committee report. So why we have made Gadgil Committee? So what is the purpose of the Gadgil Committee? So we should know. So for which purpose the committee have been established? Like that, the Gadgil Committee report and the Kasturi Rangan Committee report sometimes seen in the news are related to. So we should find that the both the committees are related to which of the following topic, that is the constitutional reforms, Ganga action plan, linking of the rivers, or the protection of Western Ghats. So this can be obtained only if you go through the current affairs case. If you only go through the current affairs. So the correct answer for the statement is protection of Western Ghats. Why? Because the Western Ghats are in threat case. Okay, that's why we made the Gadgil Committee and the Kasturi Rangan Committee for the protection of the, means they will give the measures, they will give the precautions, they will give the remedies what should be done to protect the Western Ghats. Okay, so that we are going to take in and we are going to implement those program policies, guys. Okay, so the correct answer is protection of Western Ghats. Exactly. So let us move to the next question. Consider the following statement. The International Solar Alliance was launched at the United Nations Climate Action Conference in 2015. Exactly, guys. It is the International Solar Conference. So, International Solar Alliance was launched at the United Nations Climate Change Conference in 2015, guys. So, at present, this headquarters is Gurgaon, guys. Okay, Gurgaon in India only. Okay, and if you see, initially the members of these countries are the one which are in the between the tropic of Cancer and tropic of Capricorn, because these countries will be receiving the highest amount of the sunlight, and later on it was extended to the other countries to be part of the International Solar Alliance. Okay, guys. Okay, the main target is solar energy, International Solar Alliance. Okay, the alliance include all the member countries of the United Nations. So guys, it does not include all the member countries. Initially, it was the countries which falls under the tropics, that is the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now these have been extended to the other countries, but it is not mean that all the member countries of the United Nations are under the International Solar Alliance. No, guys. Okay, so the second statement is not correct. So this type of questions UPSC asks, guys. Okay, so whenever we read, we should know exact with understanding. We should study, guys. Otherwise, we can't simply write the exam by simply okay, maybe like that, maybe like that. No, maybe exactly, must, should. Okay, so the alliance includes all the members countries of the United Nations is wrong statement, guys. Okay, so the correct answer for the given question is only one, that is option A. Let us move to the answer. Exactly. Okay, so so let us move to the next question. In the cities of our country, which among the following atmospheric gases are normally considered in calculating value of air quality index? Guys, we calculate the air quality index. So these have been categorized into 6 categories. That is the good, the moderate, okay guys, poor, very poor, severe, okay, like that we have categories depending upon the pollution into 6 categorization we have made. So now in this national air quality index, what are the pollutants that they are going to consider for calculating the value of the air quality index, guys? They are going to take the 8 pollutants. They are going to take the 8 pollutants. Please keep in mind, guys. Okay, I will make you a shortcut to remember this. That is the first one, PM 2.5 and PM 10. That is particulate matter 2.5 and the particulate matter 10. Okay, that is very minute small particles. These are the two, and after that they are going to SO2 and NO2. That is sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen dioxide, SO2 NO2. That is 4 we have made, and after that they will take the CO and O3, that is the carbon monoxide and the ozone, CO and O3, OO, guys. Okay, CO and O3, that is 6, and the last two are ammonia, NH3 and PB, ammonia and lead. Okay, these are the 8 pollutants they are going to take into consideration. Okay, guys. So see, they have been asked this type of questions. So you should know what are the 8 pollutants. So carbon dioxide nahi hai. No, so it is not the option. Carbon monoxide is it is present. Nitrogen dioxide is present. Sulfur dioxide is present. The methane, no, it is not there. So the answer is 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, 4 is option B, guys. Simple, guys. Simple. So let us see the answer. B. Okay. So I repeat the pollutants. So what a particulate matter 2.5 and particulate matter 10, CO and O3, SO2 and NO2, PB and NH3. Okay. So let us move to the next question. What is or the importance or importances of the United Nations Convention to combat desertification, guys? Is very important. United Nations Convention to combat desertification. These have been as a outcome of the United Nations Conference to combat climate change. Okay, this was taken in the 1992. That is in the Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. This was happened. So we have three outcomes, guys. That is UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention to combat climate change. That is the one. United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, that is 2, and this is the third one, that is United Nations Convention to combat desertification. These three outcomes have came from the Rio de Janeiro Conference 1992. So in this, it is asking the what is the importance of the UNCCD, United Nations Convention to combat desertification. Guys, this is the focusing on the African countries. That is the place where the droughts are more in existence. Why? Because the African countries are having the more amount of droughts. Okay, so its main focus is on the African countries. Okay, so it aims to promote effective action through innovative national program and supportive international partnership. Exactly, guys. Okay, that so it is going to do through the partnership with the supportive and the national program. So that statement is correct. It has a special or particular focus on South Asia. No, guys. Okay, maybe it has focus, but not a special or particular focus on South Asia. Why? Because they are not the drought countries, and North Africa region and its secretariat facilitates the allocation of the major portion of financial resources to these regions. No, guys. Okay, so only Africa is the correct, but we have South Asia also. So this statement is not correct, guys. It is wrong. And if you say thought statement, it is committed to bottom up approach. What do you mean by bottom up approach? Because bottom up approach means we are taking the local level people bottom to higher. Bottom means low to higher up. Okay, we are going to take the local people to combat this desertification, guys. Okay, so it is committed to bottom up approach, encouraging the participants of local people in combating the desertification. Exactly. Okay, this is called as bottom up approach. So we have the Niti Aayog as a bottom up approach. Why? Because in the Niti Aayog we start from the panchayat levels, guys. Okay, panchayat level to the center, panchayat, districts, panchayats, mandals, districts, states, and the center. That is bottom up approach. Okay, so the correct answer for the statement is 1 and 3 are the correct answers. Let us see the answer. Okay, option C is correct. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following are the key features of the National Ganga River Basin Authority? National Ganga River Basin Authority, we need to find the what are the features. So if we take the National Ganga River Basin Authority, we need to study the 360 approach. Who is the chairman? So what is jurisdiction? So what are the things that they are going to do? Okay, all those things. The river basin is the unit of the planning and the management. Okay, it is the unit of the planning and management. Exactly. Okay, it spearheads the river conservation efforts at the national level, guys. Okay, so that is also correct statement. Okay, means it spearheads the river conservation efforts at the national level. Okay, these are going to take it as the national level. Okay, that is also correct answer. The one of the chief minister of the states through which the Ganga flows become the chairman of the NGRBA on rotation basis. No, guys, so this is not the correct statement. So the chairman is the prime minister, guys, and the members includes the prime minister, the chairman, and we have the union ministers concerned, and the state ministers are also the state ministers which the river passes through are the members of that authority. but the chairperson is not the chief minister on the rotation basis, but it is the prime minister, guys. So the option 3 is wrong statement, guys. If you know at least option 3, we can eliminate option number B, option number C, and option number D. So the correct statement is option number A, guys. So let us see the answer. Exactly, guys. Always in solving MCQ, we should follow two methods: exact wrong, exact right. So when we know the exact wrong, then we need to see the options and we need to remove the options which are present exact wrong. Okay, and if you know the exact right, we need to consider the options which are having the exact right, and we need to take only those options into consideration for further process. Okay, this is going to helpful a lot. So if in this question I know that the thought statement is exactly wrong, if it is not the chief minister and it is the prime minister only through which the prime minister, then I can remove the option number B, option number C, and option number D. So the only left option is option number A. So without knowing the statement 1 and 2, I can answer this question, guys, with only knowing the option number 3. So that is option number. So let us move to the next question. Okay, guys, so we are done with the questions. So we are done with the 2015 and 2016 questions, guys. Okay, so I will come before you with the 2017 and 18 questions and 2019 questions, guys. So okay, with this we can complete the environmental ecology module completely, guys. Okay, so thank you one and all.